Hey everyone, and welcome back to S.E.T for You, the channel that's all about STEM ambassadors, engineering, and tutoring. In today's video, I'll be tackling some of the higher mark questions from the 2025 GCSE Maths Foundation Tier Paper 1 exam with step-by-step work solutions. So grab a pen, some paper, and let's get started. In this question, we are told that Samina works in a shop that sells pens. The table shows the number of blue pens and the number of red pens Samina sold in each of 3 months. Work out the total number of blue pens and red pens Samina sold in June. So in the month of June, we can see that 27 blue pens were sold and 15 red pens were sold. So the total number of pens that she sold is 27 plus 15, and that gives us 42. So your answer to part A is 42. In the next part of this question, Samina says, in these 3 months, in total, I sold more than twice as many blue pens as red pens. Is Samina correct? You must show how you get to your answer. So we want to add up all the number of blue pens that she sold across all 3 months and do the same for the red pens to find out the values, and then we can make a comparison to see whether or not Samina is correct. So if we add up all the blue pens, that is 33 plus 40 plus 27, and that equals 100. I should bear in mind that this is blue. And then for red, that would simply be 20 plus 14 plus 15, and that equals 49. So she said that she sold more than twice as many blue pens as red pens. So if we multiply the number of red pens by 2, 49 times 2, that gives us 98, and we can see that 98 is less than 100. Therefore, Samina is correct. So hopefully you all got that answer. In the next question, we are told that there are only 10p coins, 20p coins, 50p coins, and £1 coins in the bag. The bar chart shows information about the number of 10p coins and the number of 20p coins in the bag. There are 8 50p coins in the bag. There are 3 £1 coins in the bag. Use this information to complete the bar chart. So all you just need to do is draw a bar up to the number 8 for the 50p coin, as can be seen on the screen. Make sure when you are sketching or drawing any form of shapes in your exams, you always use a pencil just in case you make a mistake. And for £1, we want to draw up to the number 3, which is halfway between 2 and 4. So that is what your answer should be. You can even shade it in if you want to be a bit extra. In the next part of this question, we are told to show that the total amount of money in the bag is less than £10. So all you just need to do is add up all your values from the information on the bar chart. So we have 10p times 12, which is 120p, the same as £1.20. Then you have 20p times 7, which is £1.40. So make sure I write my symbols correctly. And then 50p times 8, which is £4. And then £1 times 3, which is £3. So your total will simply be the sum of all these values. £1.20 plus £1.40 plus £4 plus £3. If I simplify this, I get £2.60 plus 7, which is £9.60. And we can see that £9.60 is less than £10. So that right there is your answer to this question. This question in total was worth 5 marks. So I'm hoping each and every one of you got this. And if you didn't, at least make sure you know where you've made a mistake so you do not repeat that in paper 2. Question 12 was also another 5-marker question. And in part A, we are asked which train should take the least time to go from Liverpool to Crewe. So what I'm going to do really quickly is just draw around the times from Liverpool to Crewe, but I'm going to use a different colored pen so that it is very clear which time I am referring to. So we can see from 8:07 to 8:53 that both times are actually within the same hour. So what we can just do is subtract 7 from 53. 53 minus 7 is 46. So we can see from 8:07 to 8:53, the total time is 46 minutes. And then if we look at the second time, 8:47 to 9:22, the easiest way to do this is just get from 8:47 to the nearest hour, which is 9 o'clock, and that's going to be 13 minutes. And from 9 o'clock to 9:22, I think this one's self-explanatory, it's 22 minutes. The total time here would just be 13 plus 22, which is 35 minutes. With the final time, 9:07 to 9:55, you can see that they're both within the same hour. 55 minus 7 is 48. If you cannot work these questions out mentally, I would strongly advise you write it down, because you will be awarded marks for any form of working that you provide. So we can see that the total time from 9:07 to 9:55 is going to be 48 minutes. For the train that should take the least time to go from Liverpool to Crewe is 8:47, because we can see clearly that this has the smallest time. So your final answer here must be 8:47, and just make it clear that that is your answer. In the next part of this question, we are told that Rose gets to the station in Wolverhampton at 9:25. He wants to catch the next train to Birmingham. The train is delayed by 35 minutes. How many minutes does Rose have to wait for the train? If she arrives at Wolverhampton at 9:25, the next train she can catch will be the 9:30 train, which I've just highlighted on the screen. We are then told that this train is delayed by 35 minutes. 35 minutes after 9:30 is 10:05. So that's the time. 10:05 would be the time that this train will be leaving. And remember, we want to find out how many minutes she has to wait for the train. So remember, she's arrived at the station at 9:25, which means if the train was not delayed, she would have to wait 5 minutes. Given that it's been delayed by another 35 minutes, we can add 5 onto 35, and that will give us 40. So your final answer for this question is 40 minutes. Although question 14 was not a 5-mark question, I believe this question is still worth having a look at, because it seemed to have caused quite a few problems for a lot of students who sat this paper. So in this question, we are told that a road has a length of 1.6 kilometers. The road is shown on a map with a scale of 1 to 20,000. Work out the length in centimeters. I'm going to very quickly highlight that, of this road on the map. So first things first, what does a scale of 1 to 20,000 mean? This means that if you were to draw a 1 centimeter line on a map, in reality that would actually represent 20,000 centimeters. So the first thing we need to do here is convert from kilometers to centimeters. So we know that 100 centimeters equals 1 meter, and 1,000 meters is the same as 1 kilometer. So clearly I need to multiply by 1,000. So 100,000 centimeters equals 1 kilometer. So 1.6 kilometers in centimeters is just 1.6 times 100,000, and that gives us 160,000 centimeters. Now remember what I mentioned before, that 20,000 centimeters in real life would just be 1 centimeter on your map. So in order to work out the length in centimeters of this road on the map, I need to divide this value, 160,000 centimeters, by 20,000. So 160,000 divided by 20,000, I can cancel out all these zeros, and I can cancel out this 0. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So your final answer for this question is 8 centimeters. In question 24, we are told that AB, BC, CD, and DE are 4 sides of a regular polygon with n sides. BCX is an equilateral triangle. CDYX is a square. Work out the value of n. You must show all your working. So first things first, we are told that BCX is an equilateral triangle, which means that each of these angles is 60 degrees. CDYX is a square, which means each of these angles are right angles, aka 90 degrees, and we want to work out the value of n. So hopefully when you approach this question, you would remember the formula that the exterior angle equals 360 over n. So if I extend this line, remember this is a straight line, we know that the sum of the angles in a straight line is 180. So I'm going to use a different colored pen just to represent this exterior angle. So what we have here is we have 60 plus 90, and whatever that value is, we can subtract that from 180, and that will give us this value here. So I'm going to just label this as x. X plus 90 plus 60 equals 180. 90 plus 60 is 150. So 180 minus 150 equals 30 degrees. The exterior angle, which I'm just going to call EA, equals 360 over the number of sides of your polygon. Because we know the exterior angle is 30, 30 equals 360 over n. If I multiply both sides by n, I get 30n equals 360, and so n is 360 over 30, so your value for n is 12. The other method that can also be used to work out the value of n is the equation of the sum of the interior angles. So hopefully you've all remembered that the sum of the interior angle in a polygon equals n minus 2 times 180, where n is the number of sides. So what we need to do here is work out the size of each interior angle. Now we know already that this polygon is a regular polygon, so that means each interior angle has the same value. So we know that the interior angle IA is just 90 plus 60, which is 150 degrees. 150, the size of each interior angle, multiplied by the number of sides equals n minus 2, because remember that's going to be the sum of the interior angles in our n-sided regular polygon. So what I can do is just multiply 150 by n, and that will equal n minus 2 times 180. So 150n equals 180n minus 360. For those of you that might not know how I just did that, we can also write this as 180 times n minus 2. So if we rearrange this, we can state that 360 equals 30n, and so n equals 360 over 30, which we just calculated to be 12. In the final question for today's video, we are told that there are 280 chocolates in a box. There are only dark chocolates, milk chocolates, and white chocolates. 1/7 of the 280 chocolates are dark chocolates, and the number of milk chocolates to the ratio of the number of white chocolates equals 1 to 3, and the number of white chocolates to the ratio of the number of dark chocolates equals n to 1. Work out the value of m. So first things first, we want to work out the number of dark chocolates. So that will simply be 1/7 times 280, and that gives us a value of 40. We then want to subtract this value from the total number of chocolates in the box, and that value will give us the number of milk chocolates and white chocolates. So 280 minus 40, 240, and that gives us the total number of milk chocolates plus white chocolates. The ratio of the number of milk chocolates to white chocolates is 1 to 3. So if we add those two values, that gives us 4 equal parts. And so what we can do is work out 240 divided by 4, and that gives us 60. And so if we want to work out the number of milk chocolates, that is simply 60 times 1. And then if we want to work out the number of white chocolates, that is 60 times 3. And you can see that when we add these two values, it still gives us 240. So we know our answer is correct. Now we need to work out the number of white chocolates to the ratio of the number of dark chocolates. Well, now we know there are 40 dark chocolates and there are 180 white chocolates. So I'm just going to quickly draw around those. And so if we write that as a ratio, 180 to 40, but remember we want to write this in the ratio of n to 1. So if this is going to be written in the value or ratio of n to 1, then we need to divide this value by 40. So in other words, we need to divide 180 by 40, and so n is simply just 180 over 40. Now this question doesn't tell you to simplify your answer, so you can leave your answer like that, but if you want to just simplify it, you can divide the top and bottom by 10, 18 over 4, and if we halve the numerator and the denominator, it gives us 9 over 2, which is 4.5. And finally, in this part of this question, we are told that 10 milk chocolates from the box are eaten. Does this affect your answer to part A? Give a reason for your answer. Let's take a quick look at this question. So if 10 chocolates are eaten from this box, that leaves us with 270 chocolates. And so if there are 270 chocolates, the number of dark chocolates will change, because 1/7 of 270 is not the same as 1/7 of 280. And that also means that the number of milk chocolates and the number of white chocolates will also change. So in other words, yes, this will affect your answer to part A. So what you can just say is yes, because the ratio between dark chocolates, DC, white chocolates, and milk chocolates will change. So in other words, your value of n will also change. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope these work solutions have helped boost your confidence ahead of papers 2 and 3. I'll be uploading more solutions for other 2025 maths papers across various exam boards, including the IAL. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as it really helps support the channel and lets me know you're enjoying the content. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to S.E.T for you for more step-by-step maths solutions, engineering insights, and STEM inspiration. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any specific topics or questions you'd like me to cover in future videos. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.